we go.
What's up everybody, welcome back to a new video from me, the Fontainer. In this video we've got some news about Newcastle's training ground updates. So it was released on BBC's website 2 days ago. This hasn't received a lot of coverage. Obviously amidst all of the Alexander Isak saga, this one might be flying underneath the radar, but I wanted to make sure that you guys were up to date on this because I think it's pretty important. So as I said, the BBC released this news update 2 days ago. Basically it says that plans to extend and renovate Newcastle United's training ground have been approved. The club's aim for Darsley Park in Benton includes 1,350 square metres of new build accommodation. For reference or scale, that's about 1/10 of a football pitch of new build accommodation, focusing on office, meeting space and support facilities. It will also see existing buildings rearranged to provide further treatment spaces for staff, support areas alongside improved front of house facilities and a bigger players lounge. More than 10 million has already been injected into the site, which is paid for a new canteen, auditorium, plunge pools and a games room. Other proposals include the construction of a groundkeeper's shed and parking bays in front of the extension, according to the local Democracy Reporting Service. The site is currently used by 140 personnel. The club previously stated that if plans were approved, then building work would be completed by next summer. At a meeting of North Tyneside's Council Planning Committee this week, some concerns were raised by neighbours about a lack of communication between the club and residents. Newcastle United's representative at the meeting stated contact details had now been swapped and a public meeting had been held to reassure locals. Representing the club, Ryan Robson said, "As a club and neighbour, we want to be better. In the past, we acknowledge it was not the best, but hopefully there are conditions now in place. The plans were unanimously approved by the committee." So this is a topic which is pretty close to my heart. In my day job, I am a facilities manager. I manage buildings, I manage construction. I manage the facility, which is everything in the building works, and the services as well. Obviously, the summer's been dominated by Alexander Isak wanting to go and our search for a striker. We know we've got a defender, a central midfielder, a right winger and a central defender through the door. But for me, I've always wanted to keep a close eye on what PIF are doing behind the scenes, in particular with regards to the stadium and the training ground. In one of my previous videos, I did mention that Newcastle's training ground, in particular the entrance, needs a severe upgrade. When you're looking at a football club, and in particular the players, they spend most of their time at the training ground. Like most of us, we spend a lot of our time in office buildings. And for Newcastle, who are aiming to be number one, apparently, we do not have anywhere near a world-class training facility, let alone a stadium. If you think about what happens at a training ground, this is where players go every single day to train. It's where Eddie Howe gets his message over to the players. It's where they have team meetings, they talk about tactics, they have one-to-ones. It's where they eat together, they have breakfast, they have lunch, they play games together. Eddie Howe talks about upcoming opponents, about what the tactics are going to be, the formations. They then actually physically train on site as well. They sit in the auditorium, he gives them the speech on the nice big whiteboard, and they then go out on the training pitch and then replicate what Eddie Howe wants them to do in the next game. A lot of us might remember the video of Sandro Tonali walking around our training ground, and he looked less than impressed by what he saw. I don't understand why Newcastle don't prioritise this. Spending money on the training ground does not affect PSR. We can spend as much as we want on a stadium or a training centre, and that has zero impact on PSR or our ability to sign new players or give existing players higher wages. When you look at Newcastle's existing training ground, for me this is not a Premier League quality training ground. People might have seen recently that cash-strapped Man United just refurbished their training ground, and it looks very impressive. It's impressive for new signings, it's impressive for the players who are already there. It also houses all of the other teams, the women's team, the academy team, the reserve teams, all the youngsters coming through, visitors doing tours, new signings walking through the door, saying that this is the level of the club, this is the type of club that you're joining. I think the message that the Newcastle training ground sends to players is that this place needs a severe lick of paint. And this is worrying for me. A lot of the PIF talk currently is about them standing firm about not selling Alexander Isak. But if you look at PIF in Saudi Arabia, they've got a huge reputation about building impressive buildings, state of the art, an architectural blank checkbook, if you will. And if you look at Newcastle, this is worrying for me for a couple of reasons. The fact that they're only improving the current facility and not building a new one smacks of a kind of minor upgrade. Where are these ambitious plans for a new training centre? And I know it's not as easy as just kind of drawing something on a map. You need planning permission, you need local residents' approval, you need to get the designs done. You also got to think about the impact to players in terms of their journey to and from the training ground. Nobody wants their journey to work to be 3 or 4 times longer every morning, and obviously back home again after training. So I appreciate it's comfortable for everybody to stick with what they have. On Newcastle's official website, they last updated us on the 15th of April, which was 4 months ago. And their official update basically said exactly what the BBC article says, other than just that it's been approved. Is an improvement really office, meeting space and support facilities? And again, this smacks a lot about a lot of people saying that PAF are not interested in Newcastle, that it's way down on their priority list. Look at what they've done in boxing, look at what they've done in Formula One, look at what they've done with golf. Is Newcastle a real priority for PIF? The training ground is a massive opportunity to increase the level of the club. I just don't understand why they're not going to massively improve the current facility. Adding 1,350 square meters of new build accommodation is not a massive improvement. It's basically like building an extension on your current home. And again, I don't want to go back to the Alexander Isak thing. If you're looking at it from a player's perspective, normally you would start the work at the end of the season. When is work going to start now? Are they going to start work during the season? That's going to be disruptive for the players trying to train in a building site. And also, let's not forget, it's not just the players who are here. Albeit there is disparity in what the players are earning every week, but the HR, the legal teams, the communication teams, they're also working in these buildings. Again, this smacks of a lack of leadership, a lack of a CEO, a lack of a sporting director. Who is coordinating everything? Who is making the decisions? I do think this news has flown slightly under the radar. I am wondering whether or not Newcastle haven't announced it, because all focus is currently obviously on the games upcoming and obviously the transfer window. So in summary, this is just very unambitious. It sounds like a minor upgrade. Hopefully the club will reveal the plans soon. We'll be able to see some construction drawings or some 3D renders of what the new training ground upgrade is going to look like. Personally, I was expecting to see something more along the lines like Leicester's training facility, which is world class, considering you can build a line in the desert, which is or isn't happening. So yeah, a little bit of smoke and mirrors on this one. Very important for me for all the reasons I've just said. Just want to close the video up with, obviously, Newcastle have got Liverpool tomorrow night at St James's Park, our second Premier League game of the season. With everything that's been going on, I know that War Flags have got something extra special planned for the game. Let's get into them. Let's make sure we get behind the players, give them absolutely everything we can as fans. If anyone deserves it, that's Eddie Howe. What's your view? Do you think Newcastle are showing huge ambition by the announcement of a minor upgrade to the training facility? Or do you think that there's something bigger down the line where they're planning on doing a completely new site? But again, we're a couple of years now into the takeover, and I would have thought that this would have been done by now, considering the pace that Saudi generally move at in construction. Let me know your thoughts. Please leave me a like and subscribe, and don't forget.
Here we go.